you control the narrative, you control reality.
Are you like big into conspiracies?
Here's the thing about conspiracy.
Have you seen that film Leave the World Behind?
The one that's produced by Barack Obama. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but it's kind of fucking crazy. I heard like the Teslas start self-driving and running into each other, and all sorts of madness takes place. There was another movie that was produced as well called White Noise, I think a year before, about a train in East Palestine, Ohio that gets blown up. And then a couple months later, the train in East Palestine, Ohio blows up. So who knows? Maybe the elites are
like literally
planning a takeover.
I like
just psyoping us.
There was a lot of people who had like mixed thoughts on that film and the ending, but I liked it because I was like, holy shit, this is so real. Like this could.
Have you watched Black Mirror?
Yeah.
So crazy, dude. So crazy.
Like all that stuff we're very close to it.
I mean, we're already in it. You're looking at, ever since COVID kind of took over and biometric scanning for facial recognition is becoming the norm. I think it was 80 or 100 years ago, passports were first introduced into kind of society for travel. Then after 2001, the 9/11 incident, you had the TSA. You know, when you go to the US and you have the TSA, the security checks, it's like it's supposed to be the land of the free and it's supposed to be the land of opportunity, but they pat you down like you're about to enter like some sort of prison.
It's the
craziest shit.
I've been to a lot of places in America. They have the most hostile welcome ever.
It's
like
crazy.
they literally. I remember when I was younger and I used to get anxious, and they would interrogate and be like, "What are you doing here? Why are you coming to America?
What do you do for a living?"
It's like I just want to stay here for a week.
I'm just going to Miami, bro. Relax.
Yeah, it's I don't know why they do that. But are you like big into conspiracy theories?
Here's the thing about conspiracies. Most of them end up being true. So whether it's 9/11, which obviously at this point it's a big hoax, and it's been proven that there's been a massive conspiracy towards invading Iraq and Afghanistan and funneling money from taxpayer dollars through the military-industrial complex. That's proven to be true. At the end of the day, a lot of these conspiracy theorists get clowned on the internet, but with enough time and with enough kind of validity, these things end up playing out. Whether you look at COVID, you look at some of these things where you weren't really allowed to talk about it for years and people are like scared about it. A lot of these theses end up being true. So I just observe them and let them play out, and let the bots believe whatever the government wants them to believe, and we just kind of play our own game.
I love it. I always get lost in the YouTube rabbit hole of looking at all these videos. I try and pick something to watch and relax my mind before I go to bed, and then before I know it, 3 hours later, I'm just like wide awake thinking, what the fuck is going on?
There's crazy ones like MK Ultra, which is the mind control program from the CIA. So you see a lot of elites use MK Ultra to control celebrities and things of this nature, and it's proven to be true. So if that can be true, where they run some mind control psyop operations on people, maybe everything else could be true as well.
Those humiliation rituals,
100%, bro. John Cena in a dress when he's supposed to be the most jacked stud of the world. Who does that? Who does that? So 100% there's humiliation rituals, and people are willing to sell themselves for a bag. Pretty disappointing.
It is weird because I sometimes look at these people, I'm like, hang on, how did they go from like being kind of semi-famous, being in a few films or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like they're everywhere. Like they're hosting these big shows, they're in all the biggest films.
Did you watch the Kevin Hart interview where there was he was interviewing this girl, forget the name, you can run the clip on it, and long story short, it's like, oh yeah, they pay people off, or they pay people off to stay quiet, and then Kevin Hart on the show, he's like, shh, 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 shh. They're listening. Like, okay, who's listening? Whoever that is, they have a lot of control and they have a lot of power. And at the end of the day, whether you look at the history of Disney, whether you look at the history of Hollywood, a lot of these organizations are just psyops to control society. So that's why I don't watch a ton of movies. Take things with a grain of salt. Don't watch the news. If you look at the news outlets, most of them are controlled by a couple families, a couple billionaires, and most people are just spending all time watching somebody who's reading off of a teleprompter, right, and assuming that puppet is telling you the truth when it's just merely one narrative. It's It's a crazy world we live in.
So where do you get your information from? If you want to know something about a particular topic, where do you go to?
I mean, I think nowadays a lot of it is cross-referencing information. I think Telegram is one of these platforms where censorship isn't prevalent, just like it would be on Instagram or on YouTube or on Facebook. And now X is pretty good on censorship. I remember back in the day when Elon had just acquired X, there was something called the Twitter files, where they basically showcased how keywords were being blocked, certain individuals were blacklisted, and these were requests by government entities. It actually just took place in Brazil recently, where I think it was one of these federal judges was trying to ban people off of X, and Elon said, "Fuck you, we're not banning them," and they basically had to go offline in order to. In Brazil, in order to not have legal consequences. So there's definitely a lot of government intervention when it comes to controlling the narrative, because if you control the narrative, you control reality, because the narrative equals perception, and perception is what everybody kind of bases their worldview on. So if you can control the narrative, you control people's worldview.